Okay, so we're talking about measurement and the different lengths and distances, tools we can use. Oh, wait, we're done with this. Same for you. As soon as we're done with this, I'll let you go. Xavier. Okay, I need you to have a seat. We'll look for it in a minute. Can you please come have a seat? Thank you very much. That was very nice of you. Trying to look out for your friend. I appreciate it. Valerie, same for you. As soon as I'm done with this, I'll let whoever needs to go to the restroom, we'll take a quick restroom break in about 5 minutes. Okay? So please make sure you're sitting on your bottom here, Sean. So you're on 0. We can get through this real quick. So, we're talking about measurement. We know when you measure, you can measure distance and you can measure the length of things. Okay, excuse me. I should be this way right. And we know that one of the tools that you can use is a ruler. So what are the two sizes of a ruler that you guys know about?
4.
4 what?
4 inches or 2 inches.
So you're right, one of them is 12 inches. What's another size ruler? It's not 4. What is it?
6.
12 and, he said it. What is it, Antonio?
6.
And 6 inches. So those are the two sizes that you can have a ruler. And I'm so glad you guys are using the units. Good job. So one of the other tools we talked about is that if a ruler is too short and you need to measure something longer than a ruler, you can use a measuring tape. You can use a measuring tape. Or you can use a metal tape measure. And we know that you use measuring tape. This is measuring tape. When do you use measuring tape? Xavier, you can talk about this. Okay, give me 1 second. Let's answer this question and then you can ask me a question, okay? When do you use a measuring tape? I see 1 hand up, 2 hands up, 3 hands up, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. When do you use a measuring tape? Caleb. I'm going to come back to you. When you use a measuring tape, Marshawn.
To see how big or long or small or how large something is.
Right, but what kind of something? Remember we read yesterday that there's a particular type of...
Like a person?
Yeah, you can use a measuring tape to measure a person's body.
House.
Probably a house, but it might be a little harder. So you might, remember we talked about tape measurers or what like construction workers use when they're building houses? And then measuring tape is something that doctors or people who make clothes use to measure people. So today I'm gonna measure. Let's see, what should we measure? I'm gonna measure my head and then measure a little kid's head. What the difference will be. I think I have pretty good. Let's see. So when you measure, Xavier, you had a question and I said I was gonna answer yours. What's your question?
Is a tape measure inside a measuring tape?
Is a tape measure inside a measuring tape?
No, it's a measuring tape inside a tape.
Is a measuring tape inside a tape measure?
Kind of. Yeah.
I think the answer is kind of, yeah. So the difference with, I'm going to try to get a tape measure. The difference is it has the same measurement, right? Because measuring tape, please, if you want to speak, you need to raise your hand. The difference is a measuring tape is soft like this, you can move it. But a tape measure, it stays straight. So it feels different, but it uses the same units. So whether you're using a tape measure or measuring tape or a ruler, you can measure it all using inches. So does that answer your question a little bit? And I'm going to try to get a tape measure so you can see the difference yourself.
How about
3. Valerie has a nice sound.
take it apart?
We won't take it apart, but you can extend it so that it will come out so you can see what it looks like on the inside. Alright, those are ready. Valerie.
A measuring tape is not a tape measure because it got a metal thing right there.
This one has a metal thing right here too.
But it's not long like that one. No.
That's a good observation, but maybe if they folded it, it could look like it was long. So what I'm going to do, if I have to go buy us one, I will. But I'm going to look for a tape measure you can actually Again, remember, it's the same unit, and the unit we're working with is what? What's the unit? Inches. Thank you, Lourdes. If you're not in your carpet seat, check. Carpet, check. Yes, Mike. Oh, okay. That would be awesome.
Me too.
That's great. If you have one at home and you want to bring it, you can bring it in tomorrow and get your seat. And I'm going to try to get one too. Caitlin.
My daddy take measurement up to 300.
Whoa, so 700 inches. That's really cool. Brandon. Let me talk to you again, okay? Check your feet. Awesome. So I'm going to pass this one around a little bit. You can see it's movable. Oh, I said we were going to measure Mr. Bison. Yeah, I do that. Okay, so here we go. Who's going to measure? I need to sit on my stool. Who's going to help me measure? This scholar's sitting. They're on 0. When you measure on a tape, this one is a measuring tape. When you measure with measuring tape, you're going to start with the side that has 1. Other side, on this one, has 60. Okay? So you want to make sure you start on the side right here, because they both have metal sides. You want to make sure you start at the side with the 1. Are we clear? You're going to start, put it down, go all the way around, like that. Try to keep it straight. Xavier, please go to your spot. I got it. Thank you, honey. Let's see how big it is. And you're going to try to stop right before that metal piece. And that will tell you the number. So I'm going to take that out. Okay. So I'm going to have someone else come up and measure my head and just practice and show us how to do it. And then we're going to pick a student to have their head measured too. But I'm looking for a student, scholar, sitting, scholar position. And maybe Mr. Gardner. Mr. Gardner, will you let us measure your head?
Sure.
Okay, Mr. Gardner will let us measure his head too. So again, if you are a doctor, especially babies, when babies are born, when newborns are born, they measure how long they are. They measure their heads. They measure like everything. So we're kind of big. We're adults. But you can still measure your head and see how big or how big it is. Okay, so maybe we'll start with Mr. Gardner. So have someone come up and measure his. Remember, you're going to start. Oh, I'm going to wait. Please do not do that. Let's see who's ready. Marshawn's up here. Next question. Yeah, so that's an example of a newborn. So they do it when they're first born, and then they do it for a little while until they're about how old? I don't remember how old they do it until, but I know they do it until they're a little bit older, about 1 or 2. They keep measuring to see because you're still growing. So if you have like a little sister or a little brother, when they go to the doctor's office, try to see if they're still measuring the babies, because they want to see if they're growing. Okay? So my volunteer that's going to come up. Oh, you have a question? Question about this.
Can I measure Mr. Gardner's head? Can I see something?
We'll see. 3, 2. I ask you to sit down again. You're going to lose a point. Xavier, I need you to stay in your seat, okay, honey? All right. Same thing for you, Mike. Thank you. I know you're trying to help right now. We're trying to get all of our attention this way, okay? Thank you very much for the board. Appreciate it. All right. The star that I have seen is sitting his socks the whole time. That's going to measure Mr. Gardner's head is going. A star that also has a lot of points right now. Let's see what points are looking like. Points. If we look at like the highest points right now is 3, 2, 1. No, Antonio has the highest points with 17 points. Didn't ask you to get up. Thank you for not getting up without. Thank you so much. I am please open the door. It's fine. I didn't say you had to do it. So Lorenzo, would you like to do it? Lorenzo, would you like to come up? Lorenzo is 15 points. So again, remember you're going to start with the part, with the number 1, and go all the way around his
says pick a brain around you.
Okay, let's look for a student volunteer to come up. Thank you.
Okay.
And they're gonna be the person we measured their head. Nice job, you guys. Alright, someone who's sitting in their perfect position. You have the next person with the most points is Marshawn. Marshawn, you're gonna be the volunteer. And the person that's going to 3, Brandon, is going to measure Marshawn's head is going to be, I believe, Sanaya. Alright, let's see. Guys, Dr. Paul is on the You guys, just you wait until you become adults. You're going to be called. So, Dr. Sanaya Paul is measuring her patient, Miss, what is it? 21. Alright. Thank you. Alright. And then the last person that's going to come out, we're going to do one more time before we move to centers. I'm looking for a scholar, another scholar that's sitting in a scholar position on 0. Next we have Kamila and Jordan. Did I miss someone? Johan's gonna measure this tomorrow.
Oh, drain.
So Jordan. So we have Dr. White and Miss Gardenier Thomas. I'm gonna measure. Friend. Again, let's make sure she's starting at the one side and going all the way around.
Wow.
Where are we at? 21. All right. Thank you. Last but not least. Joe, I've already measured my head. We know Mr. Rice's head is how long? How big? How many inches? 24 inches. Okay. 3, 2, carpet check. 2, 1. So Johan is going to measure Mr. Valley's arm. Oh, I can do the door for me. So he's going to measure from my shoulder to the edge high of my last finger. So you're going to go all the way this way, from this end, and all the way down to my last.
What's his last name?
This is Dr. Dalton. Dr. Dalton needs it to be quiet to work. 3, 2, 1. Where are we at, Dr. Dalton? How long is my arm? How long is it? 32 inches. Right. That is true. We have one more patient and doctor volunteer to come up. 3, 2, 1. All right. I'm looking for stars in this person. They're on 0 level. Boys, ready to go. 2. Waiting for 0. 1. Good job. Okay, we are. Who's next? Who's the most?
I don't know.
What else is left?
We go
We're with